All right, everyone, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have an entire script right there in front of me, so if you see me looking down, that is what it is. I'm probably not even gonna read it, but welcome to the channel Resurgence. It's me, Zach, your boy, and this is my top 5 books of the year list. Now this year I read a lot of books. Actually, it was 11, but that is a lot more books. I read 11 books in 2025, and that's probably more books than I've read in my entire life, including all through high school. So it's kind of a big deal. 11's a weird number, but I'll explain that later. Today, I just want to talk about my top 5 books of the year. I want to talk about a couple honorable mentions, and just bang through. I don't read too much. I don't read fantasy or anything like that at all. Just literary fiction, really, like that have to do with Alaska and northern Canada. Let's see what else I wrote. Yeah, that's about it for this first part. On to the honorable mentions now. I got 3 of them bad boys, so let's get it started. Honorable mention number 1. I'm probably going to be reading off script for this, just because I wrote down some stuff for it. I can't remember everything settled down. Honorable mention number 1 is Beyond the Trees by Adam Schultz. So I did listen to this as an audiobook because I got a trial for some reason on Audible, but honestly, it was like listening to a movie. Listening to Adam Schultz, he released his book in 2019. He's a Canadian wilderness explorer. Listening to him basically talk about his journey across the Arctic in Canada from west to east, and just hearing he did thousands of kilometers. He did it by himself. He did it over months, and just listening to every step of it, honestly, it felt like a movie, because the portage that we would have to do, and he's going upriver, and just like hearing it through him, who also read the audiobook, it just feels like you're there. It feels like you're just there with him, and he's just telling it to you, but it also feels like a movie in your brain. It's just crazy. I definitely recommend reading this book. If you haven't, check out Adam Schultz. If you haven't, he's pretty sick. So yeah, I went to a book talk of his earlier this year as well, and just hearing him talk about his newest book that just came out, he signed it for me. Stay adventurous. But yeah, it's just such a good book. Read it for sure. Honorable mention number 2 is the reason why there are 11 books on this list. It is The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I don't know how to say his last name, but anyways, The Fury. It's a reason there's 11 books on my list, because I started it in December of 2024 and I finished it in January 2025. And just the way Goodreads does it, if you finish a book in 2025, it counts it towards 2025. So I made 11, so I could, because my goal was 10. So basically I did 10 and a half. But regardless, if this book was started and finished in 2025, it would be number 1 for sure. I've read 3 of his books, and they would definitely be top 3 if I read them in 2025. They are just so good. He's such a good writer. Everything is just twists and turns. He gets you connected with the characters. He keeps you on your feet. And honestly, he is just like probably my favorite writer of all time. I can't even explain the book to you, because you just have to read it, and it will blow your mind. If you haven't read it and you read it, let me know, because it's just sick. Mention number 3 now is The Woman in the Polar Night by Christiane Ritter. It's a memoir. It's not a big book, but it is so good. It's about a woman who lives in Austria. It's fully translated in English from Austrian, or whatever they speak in Austria. She lives in her comfortable home in Austria, and her husband is in Spitsbergen. He's on like an expedition, and he ended up staying there. So she leaves her comfortable home in Austria and goes in this little hut in Spitsbergen, which is in Norway. I'll put a map up, in the Arctic Circle, and it's just about her year there with her husband and this other guy that's there, this other fella that they bring along. He's just a young kid trying to make it up there. He helps them hunt, but it's just about their journey, hunting and fishing for their food, and just how they survive in the Arctic Circle in this hut that's probably just a bit bigger than the size of this room that I'm in here. And it is just amazing just to live up in the Arctic Circle, and just to live off the land, and just, it is amazing, and it is what I want to do, and I would love to do it in Norway or northern Canada and Alaska. anywhere up north really, and people see it and they're like, oh, why would you want to do that? It sounds so hard, like it sounds terrible, but it's just like the feeling that you probably get. Definitely recommend you read this book about her experience and all of that. All right, on to the top 5 books of 2025. This is in particular order. The honorable mentions were not. This is number 5. It is The Whisper on the Night Winds by Adam Schultz. Now, this book is basically what fired me up again for camping and traveling and stuff like that. Schultz walks us through his research and expedition to Labrador in the vast wilderness while he searches for a beast of folklore or any sign of it having ever existed. I wrote this myself, by the way. Research and eyewitness reports go back to the 1900s, and Schultz does a very good job of walking you through everything he is seeing, thinking, and reading. It was a research trip, so it travels back and forth to him and his study, reading through all of these old logs and like fur logs and trading reports and everything like that, to him being there with his buddy from high school who he hasn't talked to since high school named Zach. And it's just cool seeing the research part of it, and then the bang, we found this cabin, and then the research part of it, and oh wow, this was right here, and this is the river, and it's just so cool. He just sits up in his tent at night, just going through all of these photocopies. He has hundreds of photocopies that he goes through in his tent, and it is just so cool. I definitely 100% recommend this book. It came from a close friend. It's the first I'd ever heard of Adam Schultz, so I have them to thank for it because I now have 4 or 5 of his books. And yeah, number 5, The Whisper on the Night Winds by Adam Schultz. Pick it up. Number 4 is a book that came from the very first book club. I'm in a book club. Check it out. Just kidding, you can't check it out. Private, exclusive. And that book is number 4. It is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This book was amazing, and Liz Moore does a great job at keeping you hooked constantly by switching the narrators. First you're hearing from her, and then him, and then him, and then her, all at different timelines. And she does an amazing job of keeping you on your toes and not boring you of, oh, this and this. So like, there's not a storyline or a character that you don't want to hear from, because every one is like a good cliffhanger, and it's just amazing. You don't lose the plot. You're always, you know what's going on. You can't wait to hear from this next person because it's going to tie something else in, and it all makes sense. And it's not a book where there's just loose ends all everywhere. It all comes together, and it all makes perfect sense after, and it's just so good. She sums it up perfectly. There's no cop-outs and no Deus Ex Machina, whatever it's called. I wrote, it's a very campy book and a bit of a thriller, though I use the term loosely because I'm not sure if it's the right word because I'm not a genius. So past Zach knows future Zach. It is what it is. Numero tres is These Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. It's just amazing. I just wrote, the first line just says, wow, just wow. This book is an absolute masterpiece and will tug at your heartstrings for sure. It's about a father and a daughter hiding out in the wilderness and just what he does to protect her, even though it means staying secluded from the world and not letting her know anything, and just the sacrifice he currently makes and has had to make to keep her safe. And honestly, it's just such a good book. You need to read it. You won't be disappointed. Number 2, The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. This is just such a good book, and it was tough to rate all of these, but this one definitely deserves to be number 2. The vibes are just immaculate, and once you get into it, you cannot put it down. It was absolutely amazing from the start to the end, and goodness. Kristen Hanna just does such a great job. She makes you feel everything the characters are feeling, and honestly, while I'm writing the script, I'm speechless because it just reminds me, when I was writing this, it just kept bringing up memories from the book, and man, it is such a good book. I can't even explain it too much because it's hard to even say these books because you just need to read them. I wasn't a reader. I'm becoming a reader now for sure, but it's just like, You need to read this book. It's about a family who moves up from, they're down on their luck. The dad's a war vet, and they move up to Alaska from this property that his buddy who passed away in the war said he could live at. And they move up there with nothing but a Volkswagen van, and it's just about, it's a fiction story, but it's just so good. And then just like the friends that they make in Alaska, and it's twists and turns, and it's just so good. If you read any fiction book at all this year, that book should definitely be it. I've never read any other Kristen Hanna books, and I don't care, and I probably won't. But this book is a banger. 100% you gotta read this book. All right, it's the moment some of you have been waiting for, because it's the moment I get super close to stop talking and ending this video. But my top book out of 2024, out of the 11 books that I read, technically 11, 10 and a half, I read this year's Winds of Skillack 1 and 2 by Bonnie Rose Ward. I know it's 2 books, but it's nonfiction, and number 2 just picks up right where number 1 ends off. So it's essentially just one whole story through their entire life. It is what it is. If you're my homie Adam, shout out Adam, you probably saw this coming when it wasn't on the list yet, but man, these books are so good, bangers. It follows a husband and a wife as they sell their house and move to Alaska. I'm gonna do that eventually. If I can ever afford a house, I'm gonna sell it immediately. It is written from the perspective of Bonnie and shows how she felt as her and Sam, her husband, move out to live on an island in Skillack Lake, which is one of the most unpredictable bodies of water in all of Alaska, and all the trouble and beauty they experience while they're there. It's a super easy read and something I hope to do one day. It is amazing to see as they adapt to a completely different world, which Alaska is, and it's everything they accomplish by trusting in God and by helping each other to be the best they can be. It is so cool, and basically I started watching The Outdoor Boys, and then once Adam found out, not Adam Schultz, once Adam, my boy, found out I was watching Outdoor Boys, he said, you should read this book. And it is what, like, Outdoor Boys got me on fire, and then this book, like, lit the fuse even more, got me more on fire. It's just an absolute beauty, and I 100% recommend it to everyone. Even if Alaska travel isn't your thing, just hearing about their adventure is amazing. Just kidding, my number 1 book of the year is The Holy Bible by God. I am proud to say that I did not use AI to write this script at all, and this is me fully 100% bada boom.